Alright, lads. We're back at it again. Warhammer Fantasy lore time. Here we go. Dwarves, their language and culture. Oh boy, let's get edumacated.
After the...
So you heard me right, lads. We're doing both the culture and their language. Ironically enough, when it comes to their language, in the lore at least, it is said that the Dwarven language is a secretive language, that no other race knows their language. Except for, Skarsnik, Sigmar, Sigmar's heirs, a few humans. A few Elvish words are actually Khazalid, which is the Dwarven language. Aside from just about every fucking buddy, especially since we actually have lexicons of the Dwarven language. Ironically enough, out of all the lore subjects that you could ever pick out of, the one lore subject that we know so much about, that we actually have a full detailed dictionary, is the dwarf language of Khazalid, despite the fact that in the lore it says that it's the most unknown secretive language. Now you may wonder, well, why the fuck is it known as a secretive language? Well, it's because no one else knows how to speak it, supposedly, in the lore, but yet we have many individuals who do know it, for whatever fucking reason. As I said, it's kind of I would just say bad handwriting, but whatever. The fact that Skarsnik knows Khazalid just by listening, I think is stupid, but whatever. So, either way, when it comes to the dwarves, they like to keep their language secret. Funny part, too, is that the most secretive part about the dwarves is actually their culture. So, let's get right into it. So, the dwarf culture is very interesting because it's mostly based around honor, beards, and really just your role in society. So, what does that mean? So, in a dwarf life, your beard is very fucking important. So, as I said in my War of Vengeance video, the dwarves view beards in the way that, well, the ancient Russians would view beards, which is that beards are more or less your soul. It's your whole identity. Without it, you are nothing. You're better off dead. In fact, that's the whole point of a lot of the Slayer oaths is to, shave off your honor because you clearly lost it. Well, aside from the fact that Slayers don't shave their beards, they just shave their heads. But, aside from that, when it comes to a beard, the beard is the most important thing. It's what determines if you're going to have a bride. It's what determines what position you're in society. It also determines your age. So, when you are a kid, you're going to start going through a little beard phase where you start developing, scruff, all that nice prepubescent little scruff on your face, that little shit on your face. Oh, yeah, that's nice. Well, that's where you are known as a beardling. Now, as a beardling, you don't really have much say in anything. Your whole life is to be a miner and to learn a craft and to learn about what it is to be a dwarf. Like, what's the history? What is society like? How do you fit in that society? What it's like to be a kid again. Well, that's great. Well, once a dwarf comes of age, he now has a regular fucking beard, which is more or less like a human beard. So, when the dwarf is finally of age and has his beard, he would be around the ages of 18 to 20. That's usually the age where a dwarf is fully grown. A human is fully grown at the age of 16 in the Warhammer Fantasy universe. In real life, it's more closer to 22. But, hey, we get the picture. 16 compared to 20, that's a big difference. Now, even though they are full grown, they are not considered adults yet till they hit the age of 30. That being said, there's still a lot for them to learn, like a craft, a trade, or a specialty that their clan is known for. So, while these Nobelstabi, young ones in Khazalid, start learning it, while they are mining and stuff like that, they will learn whatever it is that makes their clan special. So if they were born into a warrior clan, they're going to learn some fighting techniques, they're going to learn about the armor and weapons that they use. If they're born to a farmer guild, they're going to learn how to farm, cultivate shit, although that is a fucking rarity to find a farmer guild in the Dwarven society. But that is how the way the dwarves work. So now that the dwarf is fully grown up, finally hit 30 years old, what does he do now? Well, now it's time for the Kuminat. Oh boy! This is known really as just a celebration, a rite, a mark of passage. So this is where you, the Nubble Stubby, is now a full-grown dwarf. Congratulations. So you go in front of your clan and you present them something. Usually this offering is devoted to both your clan's ancestors and the ancestor gods in total. But this is usually something that would be an apprentice's craft. So, let's take a second here to think about this. What would a dwarf who belonged to a miner's clan present to his clan as a sign that he's an adult? He would present probably a lump of ore and go, look, I found this really good iron right over there. And him being a young adult, they'll go, oh yeah, you know, this is a good offering. We'll find you a suitable Longbeard who could teach you how to find not just iron, but fucking Gromru. Hell yeah. So that is what the whole point of the Kuminat is to really show that the dwarf not only has skill, but also to designate for him an elder or a Langtromi, a Longbeard, who would be willing to teach him. Now, at this stage, you are no longer a Nubble Stubby. You are now a Notromi, or a young clansman. Now, as a Notromi, this is where you really begin your reputation. This is where now you're kind of on your own. Anything you do inflects not only your reputation, but your reputation with the clan as well. Most of the males become an apprentice to one of the senior clansmen, as I said before. But females are starting to turn their thoughts to, well, marrying someone of worth. Or at least, well, they're advised by the clan elders to start doing this. A dwarf culture and society is very, I don't want to say sexist, but a dwarf female can become anything she wants to be. But the clans really don't want that. They kind of second guess women all the time. In fact, there was a dwarf queen at one point who was the only ruler of the clan hold, or whatever fuck you want to call it. And the whole time that she reigned, she was just railed upon railed with her advisors constantly hounding her and really stopping her from making any decisions because they kept going, well, you know, I'm not so sure about this. Are you sure that this is okay because you had sex with this guy, blah, blah, blah. So, as you can tell, dwarves are very nitpicky about letting women in power. But if anything, women are actually very nice in dwarf culture because you can use them to strengthen ties with clans. And in dwarven culture, it is considered rude to get angry around a lady. Not at the lady, around the lady. So during some hold meetings or during clan meetings, there will be a woman attending those meetings solely because of the reason that they know that it will help keep the dwarves a cool head during negotiating, so nothing flies out of the panhandle. This helps prevent new grudges from forming, but this also, you know, makes the clans more level-headed and friendlier with each other. But beside that, back to the age thing. Now, while a dwarf woman is getting ready to marry outside of her clan and improve relations and all this fun stuff, there is something that's interesting about the marriage process, which is that in order for a dwarf, to be proven of a suitor to marry a dwarf woman, because mind you, they don't really get married for love or any feelings like that. They get married solely for the merit of the marriage, not for weak things such as feelings. No. We're dawi. We do not have such weak things in our society. So, something that's very interesting to me at least, is that for the dwarf suitor to prove that he is suitable for this woman, he has to wrap his beard around her waist. Let that sink in. So your beard length will determine if you are suitable for this woman. And depending how many times it wraps around is just bonus points, really. The fact that it can actually wrap around her waist once is definitely good enough. Because women, dwarf women, it's actually considered good in their culture to be fat. Super fucking fat. Fat in titties, fat in ass, fat in waist. They like their women not just chunky, they like them thick. So, and the reason why is because, again, dwarf society has very low replenishment rates because they have very low births. So, a woman who's really big is a good indicator she's going to be able to have a lot of babies. And to a dwarf, that's great. So that's why the whole proving that his beard is long enough for her is a very important fucking thing. It means that he is definitely worthy and capable of taking care of her. Not only does that mean that he's got the wealth, it also means that he's got the knowledge, he's got the temperament, he's got all the shit necessary to be a very damn good husband for this woman. Interestingly enough, part of the tradition in dwarf society is that the groom, whoever the guy is, his clan has to pay the other clan the set amount of money for how much she weighs in order to allow the marriage to go through. So once a man proves that he is able to woo her with his fucking beard, being able to wrap around her waist like 6 times, now his clan has to cough up coin for her. And this is something that's interesting. So depending how much she weighs, there's some calculator that will actually calculate how much money is owed for her ass. So it's an extremely expensive, lifelong guarantee of prostitution, essentially. This is something that's interesting, too, is that some dwarven clans are a little schemy, as I like to think, because these clans are assholes. They actually have their women go on like a 30-day feast, so that way it fattens them up more. So that way they get more dowry out of them. Ha ha ha. Got your wallet now, bitch. So, yeah. In case you're ever a guy who's into fat women, just know you'd be a perfect dwarf. So, back to their life, more or less. So once a dwarf reaches 70 years old, he is now known as an Altromi, full beard. Now, once they are at this age, they're considered a senior member of both clan and hold. Now, being 70 years old, this is the time where they are actually able to choose an apprentice. This is where they can actually train a newcomer in their craft. Most of the time, they say yes. And if there's any disputes between like 2 full beards wanting the same apprentice, well, the clan elders will resolve who gets what. Or if there's a young clansman who didn't get any apprenticeship options, the elders will assign him to a full beard, whether the full beard likes it or not. Few of the full beards, though, will just simply bypass that and just go straight into perfecting their clan's craft, rather than doing apprenticeship, which is really antisocial as fuck, but hey, who am I to judge? After all, I'm sitting here trying to perfect YouTube videos when I suck dick at it. So, hey, whatever. But, back to the marriage topic, is around 70 years old that the dwarves usually start to look at possible wives and making babies. Oh, yeah. Can you imagine waiting 70 fucking years before you get married and having sex for the first time in your life? Holy fuck. I'm sorry, but like, there's nothing in the lore about dwarves being against gay people, but I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of dwarves were more into each other, not just as companions and as fellow bros, but possibly being gay. Because mind you, in dwarf society in the latest edition, between 1 to 3 out of 10 are female babies. So if a dwarf has 10 kids, 1 to 3 of those will be women. So that's like 7 to 9 men. Well, those men are going to get really lonely without a lot of woman booty around. So now you kind of get my drift about them might being gay. After all, they always measure each other's beards, kind of like a dick shake contest. So I can definitely imagine. So, aside from that, once you are 120 years old, you have now earned a status that very few dwarves actually get. So now you are one lucky motherfucker. Not only that, you're privileged. You want to talk about privilege? These guys got it. You are now known as a Langtromi, a long beard. This is when your beard touches the floor. That is when you are a long beard. Also when you reach 120 years old. Those are really the 2 qualifications. This is where you are now regarded as a clan elder, and you are able to make decisions about the clan, and your reputation is known of besides just your own clan. So now, I may be sitting there in a brewery clan going, oh yeah, dude, we need better wheat. How about that specific dwarf from the farmer clan over there? Oh yeah, that Longbeard, yeah, he makes really good wheat. Hell yeah, let's go talk to him. Rather than them going, let's talk to that guy's clan. No, they may actually be more interested in you rather than your clan. Now, some Longbeards do accept apprentices, still. Because, hey, they love to teach. May as well, right? But this is where it's no longer a few dwarves who continue to pursue their craft, but rather most of the dwarves who reach Longbeard status continue to pursue their craft without the burden of really some dumbass apprentice fucking shit up. Well, and also something else I forgot to mention is a few Longbeards tend to marry at this age as well. But as I said, they're a little bit of antisocials and they usually dedicate to their craft. So that is enough about age. We're going to probably continue in the next video. So right now let's go on about their language. Woohoo! So their language, as I said before, is very difficult and very secretive. But Khazalid does have 2 different names. So Khazalid is the name of the language, but to write it is known as Clincaran. Clincaran is the runic writing of Khazalid. So, now you know that. Cool. Now, the reason why this language is very difficult is because the root word could mean something totally fucking different from what its ending is. Now, I know that sounds confusing, especially for us English speakers, so I'm going to make this a little bit more simple. I am using my free coupon to say the N-word, just as an example. So if you get offended, just know this is a good-ass example because it's the only example in English I could ever use for you to understand. But nigger is a very bad word. It's an insult. It means, you know, that someone's like some sort of monkey, that they're inferior to you, that they're black, whatever. But nigga means like my friend, my dude, my bro, what's up? So you can tell how Khazalid is a lot like the N-word, where the ending of the word could mean something totally fucking different. Like, ska means steal, thieving, whatever. And depending on what the ending is, could mean something totally different. Like, skaz is a thief, whereas skit means to steal. Sked means to stole. And skit means will steal. So that's what I mean by like nigga and nigger are the only English comparisons I can make to Khazalid, where the ending of those 2 words mean totally different things. And with Khazalid, there is other meanings too behind it. So if in English you are a white guy and you're walking through a hood and you say, "What's up, niggas?" Well, that's almost as bad as saying nigger. But in Khazalid, it's the same thing. It depends on the circumstances that they are using these words. So, 2 dwarves are speaking in Khazalid to each other. They may be saying, when you write it all out, "Oh, hello, Erickson. So all he said was hello, and then he said the guy's name. But really what he's saying is, oh, great tidings to you. I bid you all the honor because you have a bigger beard than me. Erickson, the son of the clan, whatever. This clan who's known for single-handedly killing 3 trolls by himself with your ancestor this. And this is all meanings layered underneath very, very tiny details in the words. Again, it's very complex language. That's why other species don't know it. This is why I like Khazalid. But of course, in reality, we're not going to have those deep, in-depth definitions. We're only going to have more superficial definitions like, English, where it's very literal when you translate it. So there's actually a whole dictionary on it. I actually recommend you go through the Wikipedias in Warhammer Fantasy to actually go through some Dwarvish Khazalid words, because I think it's funny, is that in the books, it is stated that there is over 100 words in Khazalid that talks about gold. Now, why would there be 100 words for gold? Well, each word talks about different aspects of that gold. Each one could mean something totally different, mind you. So, one could mean that either it's liquid gold, one could mean that it's gold that isn't shiny, one could mean that it's gold that is soft to the touch, but shines brightly. Another one could just be gold that doesn't shine, is tough as fuck, and is somewhat liquidy. Again, there's 100 words to describe gold in the Dwarven language. That kind of signifies to you how important it is in their culture to have gold. Well, besides that, we're hitting 22 minutes. I feel like this video is getting a little too long. So we'll continue about their culture and language in another video at another point in time. Now, as I said, I didn't get through all the stages of a dwarf's age. Trust me, the age goes up to 400 fucking years old. There is a dwarf that lived over 1,000 years old. So we got a lot of stages left in the dwarves' later life. Even though you would think Longbeard is pretty much the oldest they get. No, there's much more. And there's also a few things in their language I would like to nitpick a little bit further. But besides that, this has been Freezer700. I'm out, lads. Hope you guys enjoyed. Comment down below what you guys think. Also, don't forget, if you're new here, like, comment, subscribe. Please. We're at 112 subscribers. In the future, this would sound irrelevant, but 112 subscribers makes me happy, especially if it hits 112 million. But hey, beggars can't be choosers. Then again, dwarves have 100 words for fucking gold, so they're definitely picky about their goddamn gold. See you guys next time.